whatever purposes, you may want to expose your data using OData so that those subscribers could build whatever, using whatever their technology that they want to get the data for. Okay, so OData W service. So we won't really go into too much of the details of what OData is, etc. I'll just give you the simple concepts, provide the simple concepts behind this. Okay. First, we just create a data service, so filing project. Project WCF data service. WCF data what did I write? Sorry. So I should have just add new item. Pwede naman pala tumingin dito, no? Add new item. Okay. So
web.
Where are you?
Alin po?
Dito na lang.
Sa web.
Alin?
OData.
Oh, may letter O yun eh. Okay ba?
WCF data service. Data service.
Saan ba yung domain services? Saan ba yung domain services?
This is iba yung domain service.
Ayan, domain service. Yun yung tinatawag sa ganun.
Where is that?
Ito web.
Down. Down, down, down.
Yung lahat nandiyan.
Ha? Up.
Wala right.
Alphabetically sort.
Silverlight table.
Third. Silverlight application.
Third.
Ayun. Okay. Ayan.
Teka, click mo muna.
Comes with H yata ito. So, okay. But the thing there, it's a simple
Service.
wala. Ito lang yun. Okay. You just tell it what to expose. So, ito may Agile AdventureWorks are two entities, which is this guy. So, ito example natin wherein we have two tables, may relationship. It looks like an ER diagram, diba? Okay. Then, you just specify the name. So, in this case, it's AdventureWorks 2008 R2 entities. Okay. Then, you just tell him that, okay, you are allowed to expose addresses and state provinces. Okay? Ganun lang yun. Tapos, okay. Now, ano relevance ito? Okay. Just to show you that this is a pure sort of XML data protocol. In fact, it's an Atom. I could do something like this. It's just an HTTP localhost with access VC, di ba? So it says that I can have addresses in state provinces. So I could say, okay, let's choose state provinces. Masyado marami din. So it just gives you all the state provinces. Ito yung first, second, etc., etc. So let's say I want to drill down and look at the state provinces one. So data service, state provinces, 1. Okay. So let's say state provinces, I just want to get the top 2. State provinces, question mark, dollar, top equal, okay, the top 2 state provinces. So 1 and 2. Okay? So, you could actually build SQL-like filters or queries using the URL. And that is now translated back into the backend. It will probably be converted to SQL and it will provide you that information. Okay, so notice just by using IE, I could look at or retrieve the data that I need. Okay, so you could imagine going using a JavaScript on your web page, accessing all this data. Okay, ganun lang ka-simple yung data, yung WCF data services. Now, given this, you could now access this data from different technologies. So what I'll demo here would be, could access this data using, number one, a Windows Forms, as a Silverlight client, a Windows Phone application. Okay, so let's look at the Windows Forms. Okay, grid lang siya. Okay, kinuha natin yung grid. So, pang add service reference. So, add a web service reference. It will create the necessary proxy classes. Then, I just associated yung binding source. Code that one. Oops. Address. Okay. Then, if you're gonna look at the code here, parang yung demo natin kanina, yung nag-add, yung nag-update. So, for one closing, I just give a save changes. The only thing different here as opposed to the entities is that you should be very explicit about which objects you want to update, delete, or add. Kasi kanina, di ba, yung example natin sa entity framework, diretso na, di ba, transparent. Here, since you're really doing this on a totally different place, right, it's totally separated, you need to be explicit about, I want to update an object, so when you close it, you just see the changes. Okay, so let's see how this works. So, debug, start with, napapatingin ako dito kasi mas malaki ito kaysa sa screen ko. So, start new instance. Oy! So slow! Okay. Okay, so, see, let's say I change this. Okay. Okay, nakita ko yan, di ba? Cool yan. See that? Okay, then let's close this. Okay, so ginawa ko, sinave ko lang changes diretso. Without the field. So let me debug, starting instance. Let's do that again. Let's see. Once it loads that, you will see it's
Slow. It's slow.
By the way, huwag niyo ako gayahin kasi dinote ko lahat ng addresses. Maraming addresses yun. So it gets updated in the database. So if you will look at the database, you'll see that it's also updated. Okay? So that's one Windows client. So let's see what happens in Silverlight. So sa Silverlight, again, I just added a service reference, so very similar to that. And I could manipulate it this way. I called the data service. Okay. Here's the URI. Then, ito, link query to. So, we'll not cover link, but if you're familiar with link, it's like SQL in .NET. So, parang select from, from muna. Tapos I'm just getting the 100 of the addresses from a CTX address, get me 100. Then, place it in the data service collection. Load that asynchronously so that the page will come out. Okay? Okay, so as you all know, Silverlight is usually hosted on some other place. So it's actually hosted, I hosted it here in the ASPX. So this is actually the test page. So you do a okay, yun na, cool one. Okay. So sa Windows Phone, ang problem kasi sa Windows Phone, it doesn't really support 100% link yet. So it still needs some improvement. So the yung OData interface is not via link. It's using the thing that we saw on the browser still. So ganito pa yung format. So once link gets improved in Windows Phone 7, hopefully when Mango comes out, so dapat sa atin una lalabas yung pangalan ng code name is Mango, di ba? Marami tayong mangoes dito. Sana presyong mangga sana yun.
Meron din sa India.
Okay, so here, yung kanina yung query natin from just, ito lang yung format niya, top 40. Load async, very similar. Kasi, by the way, Windows Phone also uses Silverlight. So, let's run this.
Silverlight pan.
So in this case, I just displayed address line 1. Fine. Halatang nagdidebug ako kanina. Hindi ko mapagana kanina. Okay, so fine. Okay, so I just displayed address line 1. Yeah, here's code.
Wow.
So, okay. So, this is more like a demonstration on the range of things that you could do with data access, especially we are now in 2010, right? In the past, during the first versions of .NET, we were up to only the data set. Right now, it looks confusing, but you have to take into context that those things are there because of the history of .NET. So we've moved from low-level record sets and data sets to, at this point, to entity framework. Okay, and at this point, exposing it directly via feed so that any client application, whatever technology, as long as they could connect via HTTP, could process your data. Okay, just focusing on data alone, you could see the range of things you could do using .NET. Okay, one more when you go into other stuff that in the next few sessions. Okay, so properly creating your business objects, things that you could do with business objects. I don't know if they're gonna cover implicit transactions involving multiple objects. How do you manage transactions when you're dealing so high in the layer, etc. When you go to front end, so may mga Silverlight. I don't know if we'll cover WPF. So there are lots of things that you could do with .NET. So question is, kung Silverlight pa, light switch pa. So question is, when you go back, do you still want to upgrade or just nuke your application, just preserve the database and just build? Okay? So that's something you probably need to go back to your company and say, no, if we go do an upgrade, we're hindi na tayo in eh. There's a lot of things that we could do already. Such that let's do a reboot. Kasi uso naman reboot, di ba? Star Trek, Spider-Man, kahit tayo mag-reboot, na-reboot siya eh. Siguro may nag-blue screen by Spider-Man. So, something to consider. So, after all these sessions. Okay, so, let's open the floor for questions. Something food.
May kape sa labas.
Kape sila.
Sumisimot eh.
Ay, hindi na tayo nag-beer. Kasi after the beer, daming tanong after the
Siguro session 4.
fun battle.
Siguro
Except for ano.
Maybe session 4, we'll do beer.
Except for Joey. Okay, Joey.
Di ba, pag in-access mo kasi sa web, you get the result set, right? So how do we secure that?
Ganito yan eh. Remember, it's an SVC, right? Okay, so anything that comes with the web basic authentication still works, right? So again, it's SVC, it's a service, diba? So you could control it that way. You could also do some level of control here, which one I showed you. Like you could across the board say only these things are